berdasarkan itu menurut saya, apa yang bisa kita sampaikan dengan menyongsong pemilu 2024. Ini menurut saya sangat serius. Kita jangan terpesona hanya urusan popularitas. Siapapun memilih hanya karena popularitas, itu menyesatkan menurut saya. Sangat menyesatkan. Karena kualitas yang kita inginkan, bukan popularitas. Ujung-ujungnya cuma popularitas dan elektabilitas. Padahal kita inginkan yang lebih dari itu untuk nantinya, kata Mbak Nina tadi itu, mampu ya secara visioner, pemimpin nasional itu mampu membuat inovasi-inovasi. Jadi terobosan yang tentu kelasnya itu out of the box kan gitu, dengan permasalahan yang sangat kompleks. Jadi pemimpin yang akan datang tidak akan mampu menyelesaikan permasalahan yang kompleks seperti ini kalau tidak dilakukan dengan cara-cara yang juga tentunya out of the box tadi itu, yang inovatif tadi itu. Oleh karena itu memang jawabannya benar. Pemilih yang akan datang, jadi kita akan menyaksikan ada continuity and change gitu ya. Ada kesinambungan, ada perubahan kalau disandingkan antara pemilu 2024 dengan pemilu yang lalu 2019. Meskipun undang-undangnya tidak diubah, katakan sampai detik ini tidak diubah. Meskipun Bang Margarito Kamis ini marah karena undang-undang pemilu tidak diubah gitu ya, PT-nya masih seperti itu, tapi menurut saya ada perubahan yang luar biasa terkait dengan kebutuhan masyarakat. Jadi voters itu mengatakan lain. Dan kedai kopi sudah menunjukkan ada aspirasi, ada demand gitu ya, tuntutan-tuntutan yang luar biasa dari para voters, karena votersnya juga berubah. Jadi persentase pemilih itu bukan ansih baby boomer, jadi akan didominasi oleh pemilih muda yang notabene pemula juga, dan itu jumlahnya sangat signifikan gitu ya. Oleh karena itu mengapa kebutuhan kita, karena eranya sudah new normal, bukan era jadul lagi. Kita masuk era new normal, kita masuk era disrupsi, era yang digital dan sebagainya tadi itu. Tidak mungkin Indonesia tidak dipimpin orang cerdas. Bukan karena takut sama Bang Rocky Gerung, karena dungu gitu ya, tapi memang harus orang cerdas. Sejarah Indonesia itu memang dipimpin orang cerdas, betul nggak Bang Rocky? Betul ya itu. Jadi oleh karena itu ke depan memang is a must. Jadi satu kebutuhan bagi Indonesia untuk melakukan, katakan, satu ini lompatan gitu ya.
In 2020 suddenly we face COVID, but we have been facing climate change. So double C for the past 2 years, COVID and climate change. And now COVID, hopefully we are at the end of the pandemic. We look forward to the end of that. However, the climate change challenge is still before us, and we need to do a lot of work for that. So when we transform our public transport in Jakarta, it is not only about switching from car-oriented development into transit-oriented development, but it is part of the big umbrella that all of us worldwide is facing this climate change. A few years ago, we committed ourselves to 30% greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. We have gone 10 years, and so far we have achieved 26%. So 4% more to go, and we're hopeful we can get it all done by 2025. So 3 more to go, and we're ahead of our target. We're also targeting net zero emission by 2050, 10 years ahead of the national level in terms of time. To do that, it's quite ambitious. And to do that, we're doing many things that His Excellencies were mentioning. We are converting our street into pedestrian. We're converting our street into bike lanes. We are building public transport. The coverage of public transport in Jakarta used to be 42% in 2017. Now it's 82% of Jakarta is covered by public transport. It was all done in 3 years. And then pedestrian sidewalks. We built 340 kilometers of sidewalks in 3 years. Bike lanes, 91, 92 kilometers of bike lanes. So all were massive that we're doing. And again, that is not only about Jakarta. This is about, we are part of the worldwide challenge on handling climate change that we are facing. So we do hope to expedite this process. And MRT, as I mentioned earlier, we'd like to see this as a backbone of our public transport. Again, this is about humanity. This is about challenge that everyone is having. So partnering with us, helping us in the investment aspect, is not only helping Jakarta, you're helping humanity. This is part of our noble work on that journey. So I'm delighted that when I hear about the opportunity the European Investment Bank is opening up for us, we're eager to make a follow-up. So I hope the MOU that will be signed is not going to be a silent MOU. It is going to be an active and productive MOU that marks the beginning of our cooperations between Jakarta and European Investment Bank, and we hope more projects to come. There are numerous challenges. I will not be able to share all of them today, but I look forward for further engagement, and I truly appreciate the opportunity that has been opened, and we look forward for the execution of that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.